Welcome everybody to match day 9 here at Fitzpatrick Stadium, where in today's match is between the visiting Kennebunk Rams and your Portland Bulldogs. And we are here early on a Saturday, and it's somewhat cloudy, but we're here for a great matchup. Kennebunk, they started off the season kind of rocky. They were 1 win, 2 losses, and 1 tie. But since then, they've rattled off 5 out of their 6 for wins, including a big win against Falmouth, and they won that in double overtime.
Overtime? Oh, man. Do we know that word, overtime? We've done many games with overtime, but yeah, it's a beautiful, crisp morning today. The kind of day you go apple picking and get some nice hot apple cider afterwards. Good day for soccer. They moved the game up from 10 to 9, so at least everyone will be out of here and have an early rest of the day. But this should really be a good game. We're now at that part of the season where every game really matters, every goal matters, and the opponents, they've shaken out who's at the top, and it should be a good battle.
Yeah, and Portland, they were off to a hot start. It kind of derailed for 2 games. They had lost to Gorham and got a tie against Scarborough. But in their last game, they beat Sanford 9-0, which was Rocco Franzilli's 300th win. And so they got back into the win column. Their record is 6 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. So Portland's going to want to keep that momentum going. They are currently in the top 4, which will win Portland a bye for the first round of the tournament.
Well, and that's a good and a bad thing. With soccer, you want to be able to make a nice transition into the playoffs, but it's also good that you get a little bit of time off to rest, because the amount of physical activity playing soccer, running back and forth on a field, can take a toll season long on your body. So especially the feet and ankles. But they're in a good position.
Yeah, and for Kennebunk, a win today would give them a good shot at getting one of those top 4 seeds, especially when they still have to play Scarborough, another team in the top 4. And they beat Falmouth already, so it would be a really good win for them today. For Portland, it would maintain their top 4, and a loss today would surely drop them out of that top 4. It might not move them too much out, but it would mean that Portland would have to have an extra tournament game en route to trying to win a state title.
Yeah, and we joked earlier about all the overtime games. I'm almost expecting this to be another one, because of how good both teams can be. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 0-0 game and we get overtime.
And so we'll see who comes out on top between the Rams and the Bulldogs, and we'll be back for player introductions and the national anthem. And here we go for the start of this game. Portland will start with possession. It's deflected. Zhao heading it to Luongo. Kennebunk will get possession. It falls to Thooms. Kennebunk with an early shot, but Robles right in the path of the ball.
Yeah, a little juggle there, and you really do have to be careful.
Kennebunk wins the 50-50. And they keep the ball momentarily. Silva. It's up to Luongo. And trying to get it to Pedro out wide.
Yeah, and as we've seen in many of the Portland games, it takes them just a few minutes to get that the feel for the passing, but then it comes together. So
it's up. Kennebunk takes away the ball. It's right back to Portland.
yeah, that defense looks pretty good so far this morning. Portland's defense, I mean.
Out wide to Antonio. Kennebunk takes it away, and it was Urban who was dispossessed. Back to Robles, who will boot it up. Wanda.
Beautiful pass.
It's up to Mwangu and booted out. And it's going to take a Portland bounce. So it's going to be a corner.
Wow. I know. When he first kicked it like on the 20-yard line, I thought it was going to go sideways and be a throw-in, but the ball had other ideas. So this is good for Portland right off the bat.
So it's Baptista Mwanda taking the corner. It's short, headed away. It takes a deflection up the field.
Oh, nice play.
It was Mamusi. And it's going to be a goal kick.
Yeah, the goalkeeper for Kennebunk really had to keep an eye on that one with all those players in there and the ball bouncing around.
It's kicked up. It's going to be Moss to Antonio.
Oh.
Antonio. It's Powell. Running to the corner. Antonio takes it away from him. And it's going to be a foul. And
yeah, the referee's like, hey, your teammate's down on the ground. Why don't you wait a second?
And that was kicked right to Roy. Moss fending off the Kennebunk player to kick it out. And an easy catch by Robles.
Is that going to be offsides? Well, it doesn't matter at this point.
Headed back to Moss. Moss getting it up to Mwanda. Zhao able to get to it.
Beautiful give and go right there to keep possession of the ball.
Antonio will cross it in, but it's right to Ariema. It's booted up the field by Delara.
I'll tell you, Portland has totally taken the ball away from Kennebunk. They just need to put something together here and get a goal.
And Pedro putting a body in between the goalkeeper and the Kennebunk player, but Kennebunk gets possession back. Portland trying to get it up the field again. It gets kicked back towards Portland's side. Pedro, and it's kicked out by Chadbourne. Bay and Zhao can't bring it down. It's booted up. Urban will get it to the middle of the field, and Portland gets the ball. Mwanda will get it to Zhao. Zhao puts it into the back of the net. And so Portland takes an early lead, 32 minutes and 37 seconds left in the first half. So a great pass by Baptista Mwanda to find Paulo Zhao.
Yeah, and as I said, they were taking the ball away from Kennebunk so much, and they just needed to put a couple of passes together. But you could see that one coming because their passing had gotten crisper and crisper as this game was going, and that was beautiful. You couldn't have asked for a better scripted play.
Silva gets it up to Mwangu, and they take it's another goal. So just like that, Portland takes a quick 2-0 lead.
Did that ball go through the net?
Yeah, it did.
So there is a hole in the net. For some reason, I'm thinking I saw the ball go through, and I wasn't sure. And, I'm looking through this little screen, and you could see it, Seth, because you're not looking through a little screen. I see the ball behind the net.
Pedro will stop, passing it back to Moss. And there's a player down. And there's a timeout. And we'll see if a trainer needs to come out. It was Ben Urban who's coming off the field. Clock stopped at 31 minutes and 40 seconds. And so Portland had possession, so they're gonna it's up to Mwangu. Silva can't quite get past the defender, and it's going to be a Kennebunk throw-in. Cooper Thompson was right there in the mix, but it went off a Portland player. Mwanda.
That was beautiful. Kicked it up and headed the ball to himself.
Antonio will get it to Mwanda. Back to Moss, but it was Jackson Thumes who will keep possession, but the shot is way over the net.
And we have a young ball person on our side, but it looks like an adult ball person on the other side helping out. Oh, yeah. You can't do that. High kick for the ball. That's dangerous. So it's a foul on Kennebunk.
Out wide to Antonio. And taken away by Theo Powell. But Portland will get possession. Antonio kicking it up towards the corner. And it is Blake Delara watching it go out for a goal kick. It's taken quickly. Portland will get possession. Thompson getting it to the middle of the field. And a little too hard trying to get it to Jackson Thumes.
Yeah, nice easy play by the goalie.
Middle of the field. Mwanda. Bay. And it's taken away by Powell. And out of bounds on Kennebunk. Antonio boots it towards the Bulldog logo. Mwanda will get it to Silva. Silva crossing it in.
Oh, nice pass.
Pedro. And that goes over everything. Moss. Kennebunk gets possession. It's kicked to the corner. And it's kicked out of bounds by Cull.
Yeah, no choice on that one. Poland player speeding up that sideline.
Switch sides of the field. Taken away by Powell. And Portland will get it. Antonio out wide, taking his time. Bay to Mamusi. Silva with two Kennebunk players. Mvweni to Zhao. And it's booted up the field. So Kennebunk has settled things down for the moment with just under 25 and a half minutes to go in the first half.
Yeah, Poland still with a ton of pressure.
And it was those two quick goals.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast that happened.
Mbweni. It's booted towards the sideline. It's going to be a Portland throw. Bay back to Robles. And booted out of there. Kennebunk only has created a couple chances, but Portland's done a great job at making sure that Kennebunk has stayed as far away from Portland's net as possible.
Yeah, I mean, the defense for Portland has really, really been good this game. They're making sure they're swarming the Kennebunk players.
It's Moss. Portland with great passing. Moss comes flying up. He is out of position, but Portland getting possession back.
Yeah, that defensive play. You know, and even when Portland turns it over, they're right back going for that ball. They're not
Hatton back. Moanda. And great footwork. Crossing it in. It's Irema. With a save. As we get substitutions.
Well, at that point when you're so deep, you're just looking for a deflection.
And that deflected off of Pastora. And so it's going to be another corner for Portland. It's to the middle. It's over everybody. And it's going to be a throw-in for Kennebunk. 21 minutes to go in the first half.
Is that another corner kick?
And
I believe so. Wow. Yeah, the Kennebunk player was just trying to get the ball away and kicked it over the end line. Let's see what they can do from this side.
And it's to the middle. Moss gets a head on it, but can't quite get it towards the net. And Ariema got the easy catch. Halfway through the first half. And it's going to be out on Kennebunk.
Yeah, and you could see the Portland player. He knew that it was going to go off him, so he kicked it backwards, and it deflected off the Kennebunk player. I don't know if you try to do that on purpose, but a lot of times you do that, and accidentally the other player knocks it out, so you get a nice kick by your goalie to get the ball out. Two to nothing lead here for Portland.
And, I mean, Kennebunk has played a great game so far, except for the less than a minute. It was about less than a minute that both goals were scored. Into the penalty box, but booted out. Bay out wide to Antonio. Kanza, defender trailing him. And it's going to go out of bounds, so Portland will get the throw.
Well, and that's an advantage right now to Portland. They can get their players up the field. Whoa. Wow.
And it's going to be a foul on Portland.
Yeah, he looked like he jumped about 10 feet in the air to head that ball, but he went over the back of the Kennebunk player to do it.
It's kicked in there. And Robles going to his left. And it's Kennebunk with possession.
Yeah, it looks like Portland's playing a little bit loose right now. They got to tighten it up just a little bit.
And sometimes when you get those early leads, you tend to play the clock, but any goal by Kennebunk would put them right back into the game.
Yeah, they look a little loose.
And it's booted out by Mbaye. Takes a deflection. It's Roy who gets dispossessed.
Nice boot.
And Kanza trying to keep it in bounds. Couldn't quite do it. And Kennebunk doing a great job at getting out of the corner. Stringing some passes together. Roy trying to get it up to Thooms. Out wide to Kanza. And it scooped up by Ariema.
Yeah, that looks a little promising here for Portland now. Looks like they took that deep breath and they're going back at it again.
And Moss having to sprint towards the ball.
And I'll tell you, he's had to do that a number of times so far in this game. And he's saved an easy turnover from happening. He's come up. Definitely a heads-up play again by Moss.
And it takes a deflection off of Hat and Bat. going to be a long throw. And went off the foot of Blake Zalera.
Well, and that's one of those plays, too, you got to be real careful of when you're a goalie because you're not quite sure where that's going to go. That could have easily taken a one-hop past the goalie. You're not sure where it's coming off the boot.
It's off the head of Thompson. Portland bringing it down. Great speed. And Kennebunk gets it out. It goes all the way back to Mamusi. Pedro. And trying to thread it along the end line, but it goes out for a goal kick. And it's off the head of Moss. And between Moss and Mbaye anchoring the defense for Portland, those two have been a staple for this Portland defense this year.
Yeah, I mean, you can have the best offensive players in the league, but if your defense can't hold up, it's going to be a shootout. But if you got great defense, your offensive guys know they can just hustle up the field and not have to worry about the players behind them taking care of the ball.
It fell to Bean, headed back. And booted up by Mwanda. Makanza putting on speed.
Oh, nice.
Getting around Cull. Having to slow down. And it's going to be out of bounds on Portland.
Wow. A number of fans are like, did he grab him and spin him around or did he just fall on his own? And the referee said he fell on his own.
And it's going to be a foul on Kennebunk.
Yeah, the ref was like, I kind of let the other one go, but I'm not letting this one go.
Kanza.
Oh, nice
Antonio.
pass.
And it was Chadbourne who kicked it out. Antonio. Mwanda. And they're going to flip sides of the field. And that was a grab by the Kennebunk player.
Yeah, the whistle was like a second late. I'm thinking to myself, were they not going to call it? But they called it.
10 minutes on the clock for the first half. Out wide. It's crossed to the middle. Mwanda will get to it. Up to Thompson. And it stays in. Mbaye tried to kick it out, but miskicked it. And it just spun. And And Robles with another easy catch. 9 minutes on the clock. It's booted up. Brought down by Roy. And Robles will fall on top of it. And it goes past Moanda. Kennebunk with possession for a moment. And Mbaye faking to kicking it up the field. And that got the Kennebunk player to hesitate for a second. And then he watched it go right out of bounds.
Wow. You know, that is so heads up. And that's what we were just talking about. The defense for this Portland team is pretty darn amazing. And, you know, that takes a real good thought process right there to allow that to happen. And those are the things that Kennebunk coach is going to have to talk to his players about.
Tonio up to Zhao. Zhao will cross over.
Oh!
And there was 2 Portland players. It was Mwangu and Nkanza standing right there. And they went by both.
Yeah, that was a golden opportunity. And I'm not sure if either one of them, it's hard to see at an angle like this how many feet in between the ball was from the 2 of them, but
Pedro Mwangu. And Pedro will get it. Spinning around, getting by both players.
whoa.
And Ariema diving to get the stop.
Yeah, that wasn't too much of a physical foul, but it was enough. You can't plant your shoulder into the other player's chest to get him off the ball.
Blake Delara will kick it in. It takes a high deflection.
This is dangerous.
It's still in the danger area, and Portland gets it out. Mwanda.
Boy, that was beautiful because that was a potential for a foul, and he just let the ball come down and then took the ball away.
Great movement by Portland. And it's going to be a card on Isaac Nkanza. And Robles will easily get to it. 5 minutes left to go in the first half. Mwangu and kicked away by Delara. Portland trying to keep possession. And sometimes when you have possession, it's easier to, as Kennebunk gets the ball back momentarily, but when you keep possession, you're not having to run around as much trying to get the ball back. Zhao, and that went right into Devin Roy. Taken away by Bean. Bay will get it out wide to Isaac Pedro. Mwangu. Under 3 minutes to go in the first half. Bobo. Portland will see if they can try for another goal, but they'll be content taking the lead into half.
Well, and you can see their passing is starting to gel a little bit again.
Pedro. And it's gonna Bay, 2 minutes to go. And the more Portland keeps possession, as it's taken away by Bean. That one will go right to Robles.
Well, and the thing also that you see is because Portland is doing so well. Portland's doing so well possessing the ball that if Kennebunk steals it, they don't have a lot of players up front to go after the Portland net because they're so concentrated on playing defense, all of them.
And Marco with a strong effort to the ball. And it was Theo Powell coming barreling in. Under a minute to go.
I mean, you look at Portland and they have so many players up that they can pass the ball to attempt a shot on net. Not so for Kennebunk.
40 seconds. And it's booted up. Mwangu. 17 seconds left. Mwangu will cross it in. And Zhao almost with the third goal. 6 seconds left. And so this half will end. So halftime score is Bulldogs 2, Rams 0. And
yeah, it was a little slow at first. It looked like it was going to be one of those games where it could go any way, and then it did. Within 1 minute, as you've said earlier, within 1 minute, Portland scored 2 goals. I mean, the passing and everything, it was phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, Kennebunk played great for 39 minutes and change, but in that small amount of time, Portland did all their damage. The first goal was scored by Paulo Zhao, and then a couple seconds later, David Mwangu put it right back into the net.
Well, and, you hear it a million times in every sport when you have momentum going in your direction. And Portland did. I mean, they were building up to that. The passing, slow at first through this game, but once they started clicking with the passing, you knew something was going to happen, and it happened fast.
The only blemish for Portland in the first half was a yellow card issued to Isaac Nakanza. But outside of that, Portland was the better of the two teams. And so Kennebunk is going to have to talk about how to keep possession and move it up the field. A lot of their passes were straight up the field, but there was only one or two Kennebunk players in the area. And so they're going to have to take some risks in the second half, which is going to open up the field for Portland.
And that's the word, risk, because you're playing against a Portland team that, as we see, can move the ball, can put a lot of pressure on, and once you start that risky thing of trying to get everybody up front, it's going to open the door for potentially more goals for Portland.
And so halftime score is 2-0 Portland over Kennebunk, and we'll be back for second half action. Here we go for the second half. 40 more minutes on the clock.
Well, and we'll see what Kennebunk comes up with. We know Portland just needs to keep doing what they've been doing.
Switching sides of the field, MacDonald. And it's back out wide to MacDonald. And Bay will watch it go out for a goal kick. Booted out wide, and Mas trying to get it to Zhao.
And we could see that Kennebunk's trying to play the pressure game here early on. But as I stated, if they move all of their players up to try to score a goal, that's going to leave Portland, who's been having some pretty impressive passes, with not too many players to beat on the other side. So Kennebunk's going to have to be careful.
Pedro kicking it backwards. And it's going to stay in.
Oof.
Pedro taking a tough challenge, but it keeps the ball for Portland. Mwambweni couldn't keep it for Portland. It falls to Moanda Zhao and couldn't quite get his footing to get a good shot on it.
Yeah, that was a tough one. Not sure if he was trying to go short side or get the ball to the other side of the net where his teammate was, to get a wide open shot. But There definitely wasn't enough on that kick. I think he had two options there.
Mamusi out to Pedro. Now Portland will switch sides of the field. And Robles sliding easily to get to that one.
Jeez, what a beautiful backheeled kick. It just couldn't get to a Portland player.
Pedro. And ball will finally get settled. And that's booted right out of bounds. Under 36 minutes to go in this game.
Yeah, not quite sure where that was going.
Pedro. Zhao. And that's going to be offsides. It was Felisberto Mamusi who was trying to get by the back line of Kennebunk, but just went a little early.
You could see that play develop, too.
Mwanda. And it's going to be a foul on Portland. Mwanda. Back to Mamusi. Zhao and couldn't quite get there.
You could see it again. This is what Portland did in the first half. They started to click with their passing.
Silva couldn't get past Kennebunk's defense.
And you can see Portland.
And Robles
geez.
having to come outside of the penalty box so he couldn't use his hands, but got a foot on it. Mwangu will get it to Zhao. It's kicked out by Harrison Chadbourne.
And that's a scary play for a goalie because you leave that net so exposed for someone to just loop it over the top of your head. But I don't think he had a choice.
Moss will kick it in there, and it glanced off the head of Mwangu, but it was Caleb Ariema right there. MacDonald. And great defense by Mbaye. And
Ooh.
it was Moanda trying to get it to Mwangu. And that fell right to Christopher. Roy. Powell. And Portland boots it out of there. Silva trying to get it from Delara. Back to the middle of the field to Moanda. And that was Blake Delara fending off, watching that go out of bounds. Pedro stepping in front, but it's right to Bay.
Well, and you can see the Portland hustle. Getting back when they turn the ball over, getting back defensively, just constantly attacking the Kennebunk player with the ball to take the ball away.
It's Thoms trying to keep it in. Portland will take the throw quickly. Zhao.
Oh, dangerous pass.
Wanda Zhao will cut back to the middle of the field.
Oh!
And it was offsides by Mwangu. But the play was there.
That was a pretty pass.
It's under 30 minutes to go in this game. Powell. And it's a turnover, but the shot by Thoms was not quite what he wanted. Went right to Robles.
Yeah, nice, easy play. But, Kennebunk's been, every once in a while there's been a little spark there, and Portland's going to have to be careful. Kennebunk's been getting a few extra shots this half of the game compared to the first half. They got to be careful.
Pressure by Levi Christopher. It's a throw-in for Kennebunk.
Portland trying to keep a clean sheet, but it's just like that. Turn the ball over, get a shot, even though it was wide. One of these times it's not going to go wide.
It's rolled out to Moss. Pedro. Zhao. Wanda. And he's going to get it to Zhao, but Zhao just offsides.
Wow.
And the Kennebunk's keeping a high line. 28 minutes to go.
And one of these times he's not going to be offsides, and he's going to have freedom all the way to that net by himself.
Mwangu will get it out wide to Silva. And Portland, once they get to the back line of Kennebunk, has not been able to string the passes together. Wanda. It's Cull defending. Pedro will get it to Mbweni. And that goes nowhere. Mbweni. Silva taking it down. Will get a shot. And it's in the back of the net. So there's the third goal for Portland.
Yeah, I think that the goalie for Kennebunk was on that side, but I didn't think he expected it to be shot with all those players around. But you know that's what happens sometimes.
So Osvaldo Silva with the goal coming at 26 minutes and 53 seconds left on the clock. It's now 3-0 Portland over Kennebunk.
Well,
Portland trying to get another goal. It's momentarily taken away.
see, you know, and the Kennebunk player right there was waiting for the ball to come to him. And while he waited, the Portland player come up and took it away.
Zhao and trying to get it to the sideline. Moanda a little too far out in front. Moanda will try to get it to Zhao. It's booted up. And it fell to Thumbs. Pedro will redirect it up the field. And the shot by Cooper Thompson goes wide. Just over 25 minutes to go in this game.
And you could see how throughout the season that this Portland team has gotten so much better in their passing. They're going to be so dangerous moving forward.
And a foul on Portland. It's kicked in there. Kennebunk trying to do everything possible to try to get it towards the net. But Portland not allowing anything to get into the penalty box. And that's into the back of the net.
Well,
and that was scored by Jack Tomasulo. Tomasulo puts one on the board for Kennebunk with 23 minutes and 57 seconds on the clock.
not much the Portland goalie could have done about that one because it cleared the top of his hands and just below the crossbar. And no foul called on that one. Portland player looking for a foul. I mean, Portland's got to be careful now. There is still plenty of time left on this clock.
And it's another yellow card. And this is where Portland needs to keep their emotions in check.
You know, and also you've given Kennebunk with that goal. Oh, and Portland's looking for a foul on that. The player was being held. And you can't let this field change sides here.
And that goal by Silva looking really good right now, especially with Kennebunk scoring.
You know, it's still 3-1, but you got to play this game like it's tied, Portland.
Under 22 and a half to go. Kanza. And taken away by Kennebunk. Kanza will fall back to get it. It walks the line to stay in. Portland, in the last couple of minutes, have played a little sloppier than what they have been. Mwanda. Zhao will get it in the corner. And it took a couple of deflections, but it was off last from Zhao. I think he was pointing towards the corner thinking it was corner, but
can't put anything past these referees.
it's going to be a throw for Portland. And Portland, I think, needs to adjust from the pressure being put on by Kennebunk. Because I think in the first half, Kennebunk was sitting back, and Kennebunk's adjusted by putting more up.
Well, and sometimes, you know, when you got a 3-0 lead and the other team is playing with nothing to lose because they're losing, their focus gets a little sharpened because, you know, they have grit and determination, and you know, you got to play through the ball, and Kennebunk is definitely playing through the ball now.
Booted up by Powell. Bay to Moss. Out wide to Pedro. Bobo trying to get it to Zhao. 18.5 to go. Portland leading this one 3-1 over Kennebunk. And right off the face of Mamusi, but it gets to Zhao, but just too far out in front.
Yeah, the Portland's got to get those passes just a little bit better. You could see the hustle is there. Portland has not given up the hustle.
Moss getting it back up the field. Kanza will run to the corner. It gets crossed in. And Mwangu trying to spin around and shoot it towards the net. But it goes over for a goal kick.
That would have been a sweet goal.
Bobo back to Moss. It's taken away by Powell. And Bobo pressuring Powell to get Portland the ball back. And right between the legs to get it to Mamusi.
Wow, lost his footing there real quick.
And Akanza fighting for the possession, and that wins Portland a throw.
And that goes a long way right there. The hard work, and we'll see what comes of this. But Portland is definitely not giving up on trying to get that fourth goal.
Pedro, Bobo, and Pedro gets it back. He'll shoot it, and it's in! A long-range fire from Bunga Pedro.
Oh, man. And there it was. They just didn't give up. Trying to get that fourth goal, like I said. Man, oh, man. They're going to be talking about that one over the weekend. That was a bend 'em like Beckham shot. And how many times have we seen Paul Mullen do that? You just line it up and shoot an upper corner. No chance for the goalie.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he saw the space, he took it, went right to the middle, and Portland, Mwangu will get it back. Trying to cross it in. Pedro will cross it in. Mamusi.
See, and that's the hustle right there for Portland.
Mwangu, and that one goes wide. But Pedro, he saw the opening into the middle of the field, and as soon as he saw a green light towards the net, he took it and hit the top corner.
Jeez. I mean, those are beautiful. When you can do that, That's like the batter up at the plate with bases loaded, just trying to swing for the fences. Occasionally it happens.
It's a foul on Portland.
Well, I just broke the Felga rule. I cross sports. So I'll take that one back.
So 14 and a half to go in this game. Portland leading Kennebunk 4-1. Kennebunk pressuring. And that one's into the back of the net.
Seriously.
That is number 2. That's, I believe, scored by Jack Tomasulo.
I mean, what the heck just happened there? It's like all of a sudden, I don't know if it just, that's what happens when you stand around that quickly.
So Kennebunk scoring another goal, making it 4-2. 14 minutes left to go.
I mean, it was like Portland just took a deep breath and took a 5-second nap, and next thing you know, there's a goal.
Portland still in firm control of this game. Mamusi. And it's to Tomasulo. And a strong save by Marco Robles. It was Thoms and Tomasulo right there for Kennebunk. McKenza keeping it in. Will cross it in. And couldn't quite get a good shot, Ramazani.
Well, and just like that, Portland with another opportunity.
Under 13 minutes to go. Portland getting possession. Babo. Zhao couldn't bring it down on his foot, and it goes out.
So you can see that Portland can turn it on and turn it off in their play. And as a fan, that's okay. But I'm sure as a coach, you're like, it's got to, the light switch has got to be on all the time.
Babo. Mamusi out wide to Pedro. Getting pressured by Bean. And it's a turnover. Moss with a strong head. Getting it back for Portland. Zhao will get a great pass. And it was better defense by Noah Burnham.
Yeah, and see, that's what I'm talking about. They just turned the switch back on and drove it down the field for a corner kick now.
Portland taking their time. It's off the head and punched out by Caleb Ariema. So another corner for Portland. And it got right through everybody. Tonio, Nikanza, give and go. Nikanza will cut back and off the crossbar, but it was off the hand of Ariema.
Boy, and the Kennebunk goalie, I mean, he's saved a few here. But they've led to corner kicks.
It's through everybody. It fell to MacDonald. And it's under 10 minutes to go. We're going to get substitutes for Kennebunk. Portland with great chances to get that 3-goal lead back. Zhao slips a little, keeps possession. And Bobo will shoot it. It deflects right to Ariema. Bean trying to get it up the field. Moosey. And out of bounds on Kennebunk. Portland being told to move back on the throw. Powell trying to get to it, but Moss coming out strong to get it back up the field. Powell. We'll see.
Was that a deflection?
And it was deflected. So Portland, it's up the field. Zhao just offsides again. 7.5 to go. It's 4-2 Portland over Kennebunk.
Well, one of these times he's going to be onside, and it's going to be straight to the net.
Some great passing from Portland.
Oh.
And couldn't quite keep it in. Zhao doing everything possible to thread that on the yellow line. Zhao. And it's going to be a goal kick. Not sure what his thought process was. Maybe to try to get his footing to cross it in, but lets it go out of bounds for a goal kick. But Portland keeping the pressure on. Bobo. And kicked up the field by Chadbourne. Portland will keep possession. Moss. And Bobo. Pedro will get to it. And it's out of bounds on Kennebunk. Babo. Mamusi. Silva. And Mamusi would have been offside, so just lets it go by. It's kept in by Thumbs.
Oh, is that going to be a yellow card?
And it's another yellow card.
Yeah, I mean, he was going for the ball, but he took his feet out from underneath him. Portland piling up the yellow cards.
It's the third yellow card. It's Graham Bean standing over the ball. And we have a player down. But Jackson Thumbs.
Yeah, and he's been playing so hard this game. I don't know if it was from what just happened or just exhaustion, but he has been playing his heart out this game for Kennebunk.
It's in there. It's a great save by Marco Robles.
Jeez. I'm telling you.
And Portland's going to need some to shut down Kennebunk. Robles comes out and punches the ball. And when you need it, Robles comes in and keeps this a 2-goal lead for Portland.
Yeah, just in the last minute, he's made 2 great saves.
He's going to kick it towards the end line to waste some time. Silva will get it to the middle, and Silva wins Portland another corner.
And the thing, too, here is Portland could do some wasting of time. Take your time to get over the ball, get set up. You know, if you can waste 15, 20 seconds.
It's taken. It's over everybody. Tonio, it's taken away momentarily. Mwanda, and a long-range shot
Is that deflection? No?
No. It's under 2 minutes to go. Portland just needs to keep possession. Mamusi will get the ball back for Portland. Mwanda And a great run by Nakanza. And crossing it in. Silva trying to get there. Mwanda doesn't go any further than Powell.
That was a tough one, trying to settle that ball down.
Just over a minute to go, and that one goes out of bounds. It's booted up. And Robles boots it out, 45 seconds to go. And the shot goes wide for Cooper Thompson. "15 seconds left, and so Portland is going to come away from this game with a win. And the horn will sound. So Portland coming away with the win. Final score is Portland 4, Kennebunk 2.
Well, and I have to say that this is a good win, but I'm going to put a little asterisk on it, only because of, as I said earlier, in this second half, it looked like Portland turned off the switch and turned the switch back on. And they're going to have to be real careful going forward and into the playoffs. You can't turn the switch off. Kennebunk got a real easy second goal with everybody standing around. And they're going to have to be real careful that they don't allow that to happen again. And I'm sure that Coach Franzilli is going to have a little discussion about that, because a different team, you can't let this happen to. And so we'll see.
Yeah, and we'll see where this puts Portland. But Portland still has to play some heavy hitters down the stretch. So they still have a little bit to go. Kennebunk only has 3 more games left this season. Kennebunk, with the loss, moves them to 6 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie. With the win for Portland, it moves them to 7 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. I mean, it was a hard-fought game by Kennebunk, but Portland was just a little too much for them.
The Portland defense, that is not an issue with this team. They totally dispossessed Kennebunk on many, many opportunities. And the defensive back line and the goalie for Portland. I mean, the first goal that the goalie for Portland let up was just a hard-hit ball, cleared the top of his fingers and cleared the bottom of the crossbar for a goal. And so some of those balls come in so fast that no matter what your reaction time is, and as we saw with the goal for Portland, the way that came from like the 15-yard line and hit the corner was a beautiful shot, and Kennebunk had one of those too.
Yeah, so second half stat line for Portland, they scored 2 goals. The first was by Osvaldo Silva, and the second was a great fire from long range by Bunga Pedro. The Portland did get 2 yellow cards. in the second half. For Kennebunk, their 2 goals were scored by Jack Tomasulo, but those 2 goals weren't enough for Kennebunk as Portland comes out on top here in this one. The next game for Portland is at Chevrolet, and the next game for Kennebunk is at home against Westbrook. But the final score in this one is Portland 4, Kennebunk 2. Saying so long. This has been a production of WPPS TV3 Portland Public Schools. Saying good night.
Thank you very much for watching.